You guys, welcome back to Gotta Love Them Movies, your place to talk about the stuff that you love. I'm your host, Mr. Mike Brown. I'm here all the time, and you guys, what a wonderful day it is here in New York. The weather is, well, it's rainy. It's a little drizzly, so is it the most ideal, perfect fall day? No, but I love the temperature. It's hoodie weather. Fall is in the air. Halloween is right around the corner. Halloween is this weekend. Think about that for a second. Halloween's this weekend. How did we get, I feel like yesterday was June, right? We're just blowing through this year, and I love fall. I love this time of year. It's just nice. It's fun, you guys. And I'm glad to be back on the air. Past few weeks have kind of been hit and go, a little hit and miss. We have a few comments coming in from, excuse me. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Fubuki Hime Gaming. Am I saying that correctly? Fubuki Hime Gaming. Hello, and hi, Mike Brown. Well, hello. welcome. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being part of the conversation. And Nerd Zone, don't think I haven't overlooked your, or don't think that I have overlooked your comment. I have not, but we are going to get to that later in the show. You guys, thanks so much for being a part of the conversation, the community. What do you guys want to talk about? Let me know down there in the comment section below. And as long as your comment is family friendly, try to keep it to the entertainment world. But if you have something else that's on your mind that you want to talk about, hit me up. Let me know. Put it down in the comment section below. And you guys, if you haven't already done so, be sure to click on that subscribe button. With the more subscribers we get, the more watch content the channel gets. And with the more watched content the channel gets, hopefully I get to make the show my full-time job. As you can tell from some of these numbers over here, we're suffering from viewership. But it's fine. Let me change the gain. Let me turn the gain down just a little bit. Seems a little high. How's that sound? You guys let me know how that sounds in the comment section below. Fabuki Hime Gaming says, yes. Well, thank you. Woo! Dodged a bullet there. You guys, if there's anything very specifically that you want to talk about that we're not bringing up in the live show, send me an email at gottalovethemmovies@gmail.com, and we can basically talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. Send me an email. We'll make it a main topic here on the show. And before we get into the main meat and potatoes of the show, which is our emailed questions, I have a tiny little announcement. Next month, it's going to take a few weeks for me to kind of get all of these videos together and edited and uploaded. But you guys, I'm starting a second YouTube channel. Check it out, How to New York. It's not live yet, so hence there are no subscribers just yet. But as you guys know, I live in New York City. It is my favorite city in the world, and there's so much to do here. Very recently, I got married, and a lot of people who came to the wedding were asking, like, hey, how do we get here? Hey, how do we go there? Hey, what's the best way to do blah, blah, blah? And so I made a few short little instructional videos on how our guests can get to the wedding venue and how they can get there, and like how to ride the subway and how to buy a Metro card and where the best restaurants to eat and like that kind of stuff, And so a lot of people have kind of said, well, maybe you should make more of these videos. And so, I finally made the decision. I'm going to do it. I'm going to start a second YouTube channel. It has nothing to do with movies at all. Unless we do like the movies set in New York. I might do like a special crossover episode with Gotta Love Them Movies. But anyway, second channel, How to New York. Keep your eyes open. That will be debuting next month. I'm really excited for it. Anyway, you guys, we've got a whole bunch of stuff. You guys are sending in so many comments. If you guys don't already know, let me just preface this right now. I'm going to get to your live comments. How we usually do that is we take all of our emailed questions first, and then we'll jump into the live comments and take all of your live comments. So stay tuned. Wait for the second half of the show because I'm going to get to all of your live comments that are coming up. And you guys are already starting a really cool conversation. I'm excited to dig in. But yes, we will do that in a second. But for right now, it's the time to jump in and take your movie news.
What?
All right, you guys. Like I said, let's jump in and take your movie news. And our first email comes from the Nerd Zone. And Nerd Zone, your email was a little more lengthy, so I had to kind of like reformat it a little bit, which I did for the entire show today. So your subject header we lost, but you're talking about Skyglass. So Skyglass, as Nerd Zone points out here in his email, says Skyglass is a streaming TV. So if you have now let me preface this by saying, if you are not already familiar with how television works in the UK, Sky is a service much akin to like any of your like big networks like ABC or NBC or Fox or like any of that stuff. But Sky's kind of like the central hub for all of programming in the UK. Yes, you have the BBC, but Sky is kind of like a separate company that makes premium channels more available to people in the UK. So, that being said, Sky Glass is a streaming television. So if you have Sky already, you don't need the Skyman, or rather the person that comes to your house to install the service. You don't need the Skyman to mess about with your satellite, and it's all built in. It's 4K QLED with HDR and amazing Dolby Atmos built-in speakers. Oh, those are my so that you don't need any big speakers in your setup. It's like, it's a full-on package. It's all right there. It's still the same it's still the same purchase Skywise for all of your subscriptions, but the prices for the TVs are. If you want a 43-inch, it's £650 or £13 a month if you want to lease it. A 55-inch television is £850 or £17 a month. Or if you want to go for the big one, 65-inch TV, it's £1,049. Or again, if you want to lease it, £21 a month. That will come in black, white, blue, green, pink. Also, if you want to keep the environment safe, it's the first ever carbon neutral television. That means no plastic whatsoever. And I think that right there is a huge selling point. I mean, like, there's a lot about this television that's a huge selling point, but this in particular, I love that. I love that it's completely carbon neutral. That's wonderful. I don't know if you people in the US have this, but I'm excited. What about you? And that comes from the Nerd Zone. Yeah. So when you sent this, I was like, wait, this sounds like other types of televisions that we have in the U.S. And, I haven't lived in the UK for well over a decade. Wow. It's been much longer than that. We're rolling up on 2 decades now at this point. But so it's been a while. It's been a while since I've lived in the UK. I've visited quite regularly, very frequently. But my involvement in UK television, and specifically the boxes themselves, has been a little spotty at best. I've been a little removed from it. So, with the Sky Glass being introduced into the UK, when you first sent this email, Nerd Zone, I started thinking, like, this sounds very reminiscent of other types of televisions that we have here in the US, where you have let's talk Sony for a second, or Panasonic or whatever, any of those manufacturers of televisions. Some of the selling points from some of these TVs is that you have Netflix installed, you have Hulu installed, you have Disney Plus installed. Like, you can buy the television with an app built into the TV that you just, on your remote control, click the button, and then Disney Plus comes up, or Netflix comes up, or Hulu, or like whatever service you want to, whatever streaming service you want to watch. And then if you want to go to your actual channels, then you can do that. The thing with these televisions is that you are still reliant on having like a satellite or some kind of a subscription service. It's not built into the TV. You have apps that are, built into the TV, which comes kind of like the big selling point for the TV. But to my knowledge, we don't actually have a full-on television, full subscription that is completely wireless based. You don't need a satellite. You don't need a separate cable box that plugs into your TV. It's its own thing. The closest thing that I can think of that we have to something like this in the United States would be just get yourself the best television that you want to spend money on, and then get like an Apple TV and plug it into your TV, or get a Roku and plug it into your TV, or like one of those devices that you plug into your TV. So you download all of your apps onto the Apple TV or the Roku or whatever. Or if you even wanted to put in, there's a service called, now I'm blanking, Sling. If you wanted to pay for the subscription of Sling, you can have live channels, and they're all streaming via the internet. You just pay for your subscription, and then, connect your TV or rather your Apple TV or your Roku to your to your wireless router that you have, like your internet that you have in your home. And then there you go. You have access to all of these channels. But from what Sky Glass is, I don't know if we actually have anything quite like this. It's almost like it's a Roku or an Apple TV device that's Sky branded. It needs nothing else. You get the TV, poof, ready to go. You wirelessly connect it to your broadband internet connection, to your high-speed internet connection, whether wireless or whatever. Sorry, I'm just looking at a comment. The Nerd Zone just said Sky does Wi-Fi routers as well. Yeah, so there you go. If you buy a Sky wireless router, it might have a better connectivity because it's all within the same family. I mean, not necessarily, but it might. I don't know. Some products work like that. Like all Apple products work seamlessly together. Whereas sometimes if you go like Roku and then Sony, and sometimes there's a little connectivity issues or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I would assume Sky is probably trying to do the same thing that Apple is doing and just keep everything seamless. So this sounds like an amazing opportunity. And I hate the way that this article has phrased this. Admittedly, this particular article, while I got it from Yahoo News, this is an article from Cosmo. And I'm trying to hide that fact a little bit because, Cosmo, what are you going to do? But they say it's an influencer-approved new TV. That doesn't mean anything. It's an influencer. That means that there's some influencer somewhere, some way, somehow, who's decided, I like this. I'm going to approve this TV. Doesn't mean anything. It just means that there's somebody on Instagram who has a lot of followers has said, I like this TV. I'm going to approve this TV. And now it's newsworthy. It's like me if I'm saying, hey, I like this TV. I like this glass. This mug is wonderful. I approve this glass. And now somebody says, hey, Mike Brown approved the glass. Woo! So this title, this headline doesn't mean anything. But the rest of the article basically says the same thing that you brought up, Nerd Zone. There's all the prices, all the different colors, and it basically tells us like what is Sky Glass, which is essentially what we've already talked about. It's a streaming television that doesn't need a satellite. It doesn't need a cable box. It's got it all included inside of the TV. And all the rest of the pertinent info there. But I think this is a really great idea. I think this is something that's been a long time coming. But I want to hear from you guys. Like, what are your thoughts about Sky Glass? Am I missing out? Is there a version of this in the United States that I'm just totally unaware of? Let me know down in the comment section below, as well as what do you think the benefits of having Sky Glass are going to be? Yeah, you still need the subscription to Sky. But I mean, if you're paying for that anyway, might as well just get the TV that does it all for you. Or are there limitations that we're not talking about, that we're not taking into consideration right now? Are there things about having Sky Glass that limit you from doing other stuff? So like, case in point, let's just say you want to watch Disney Plus. Does it have the option? Is there like an app store or like a Google Play store, or like whatever the version of that would be with Sky? Is there a store where you can download apps like Disney Plus? If you want to watch, the new Loki series, if you want to watch Loki on Disney Plus, does this give you the option to download Disney Plus? Or if you want to watch blah 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 over here, and I understand Disney Plus isn't available in the UK yet, is it? No, sorry, I'm thinking of HBO Max. Sorry, strike that last comment from the record. But anyway, guys, I want to hear your thoughts about what you think of Sky Glass. I think it's a great idea. Jump on down to the comment section below. All right, guys, let's move on to our next email of the day. Email number 2 also comes from the Nerd Zone. And Nerd Zone says, so, NetherRealm Studios, the video game company that is famous for making the new Mortal Kombat games after Midway shut down, and the Injustice games, and the Injustice games are now getting rumors on their next game. I doubt this is true, but it's so bonkers, I want to talk about it. Let me interject really quick here, Nerd Zone. It's not as bonkers as you might make it out to be. Nerd Zone goes on, their next game will be called Multiverses, a game that crosses over the different universes from Warner Brothers. Get ready to laugh, because things are looking hilarious. Yeah, kind of maybe a little bit, but, it could be fun. These will be some of the characters rumored for the Smash Brothers style, game. Batman, Gandalf, Tom and Jerry, Fred Flintstone, Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, Harry Potter and Ron Weasley, Mad Max, Johnny Bravo, which amongst those are the ones that have just been specifically named, but I assume there's a host of others. Do not take this as true. I just thought it would be an interesting topic to talk about. Yeah, so, Super Smash Brothers has been a huge video game series for a very long time. Where all of the classic Nintendo characters like Link and Mario and Luigi and my goodness, now I'm just naming like all the Super Mario Brothers characters, but Final Fantasy characters and all these other major Nintendo characters coming together in one game to have a super mega battle. Well, it appears. What is this? What did I just click? Oh, that's from a long time ago. It's not the thing I meant to click on. So here in this article from comicbook.com, specifically in their gaming section, I'm just going to go ahead and read this article. It's not too long, but it sheds a little bit of light as to what this rumor is and where this rumor came from and possibly the validity of it. So let's jump into this article from Mortal Kombat. Let me pull this up a little bit bigger on the screen so you guys can see it. Here we go. All right. Mortal Kombat developer potentially working on a Super Smash Brothers style game called Multiverses. NetherRealm Studios, the Chicago-based Warner Brothers owned developer behind Injustice and Mortal Kombat, is reportedly working on a Super Smash Brothers style game. The report comes the way of an anonymous source on a Reddit burner account, which usually isn't worth paying attention to. But not long after the report surfaced, a trademark from Warner Brothers for Multiverses surfaced. Suffice it to say, the report now has the internet's attention. The new NetherRealm game is a Warner Brothers crossover platform fighter, yes. New IP technically, reads the leak. It is based off of Smash Brothers and now Nickelodeon All-Stars, but this was in the works before Nickelodeon was even announced. It's a tag team game. Not sure if that means that you pick two characters and switch between them, or if each character is actually a pair, or if each character is an individual and you only switch when you lose a stock. All I know, according from the person writing this article, all I know is that there's synergy between certain characters, which implies custom teams. The leak continues by naming a few characters that will be in the game, including Shaggy, from Scooby-Doo, Gandalf, Tom and Jerry, Batman, Fred Flintstone, Mad Max, Johnny Bravo, Harry Potter, and Ron Weasley. That said, it sounds like Harry Potter and Ron may not end up in the game due to licensing issues. Oh, well, boo-hoo. Now here's a quote. I was told that I'm not entirely sure who this quote is from. Like, something is being quoted, but I assume this is probably from the leaker on Reddit. I was told that the origin of this game was actually due to the memes based around Shaggy getting into Mortal Kombat in his Ultra Instinct form. Obviously, NetherRealm wasn't going to put him in the game like Mortal Kombat, so ideas were tossed around, and Warner Brothers loved the idea of combining their properties and establishing a more Warner crossover, as you obviously saw in Space Jam 2. The leaker concludes by I'm sorry, guys, this is a lot to take in, but it's very important. The leaker concludes by noting They have no clue when the game will be revealed, but claims it's been in development for a while, and thus a reveal at the Game Awards 2021 in December is certainly on the table. Definitely a possibility. This is the end. All of that said, take everything here with a grain of salt. If you don't hear anything else, take this away. Take everything with a grain of salt. While the trademark bolsters this rumor, it doesn't change the fact that it's still very much a rumor. Not only is everything here unofficial, but it's subject to change. At the moment of publishing, at the moment of this comicbook.com publishing this article, neither NetherRealm Studios nor Warner Brother Games have addressed this rumor in any capacity. If this changes, we'll be sure to update the story accordingly. And of course, again, that comes from comicbook.com. So what does all this mean? Not a lot, first and foremost. Not a lot. There was some dude on Reddit or some lady on Reddit who made a post very anonymously saying, hey, here's a game coming down the pike. It's going to be called Multiverses. It's going to have these characters, and it's going to be Warner Brothers' version of Super Smash Brothers. Cool. I know there's another report saying that it's not... There's another rumor from a gamer insider saying, and I don't have the article available, but he's claiming NetherRealm Studios is not involved in this project. It doesn't make sense for them to be involved in this project, being that they have all these other things on the docket. They're not going to have time to do this game. Okay, maybe that's true. Maybe that's not. Maybe there's truth to the rumor. Maybe there's not truth to the rumor. But at the end of the day, this doesn't sound like a crazy idea. This actually sounds like there could be credence to this. Why wouldn't Warner Brothers want to have a competing fighting game that combines all of their Warner Brothers like classic characters? That sounds awesome. Tom and Jerry fighting Gandalf? Yes, please. I'm here for it. That sounds fun. Fred Flintstone in a knockdown drag out fight against Mad Max? Cool. I'm here for it. That sounds fun. That sounds really, really cool. Again, you guys know I'm not a gamer. I love video game culture. I like being in the know when it comes to games. I don't play games. I don't enjoy the gameplay of it. I like the story. I like the characters. I love these ideas. I love the culture around this stuff. I'm just not a fan of actual gameplay, you know? But neither here nor there, this sounds like a great idea. And with Warner Brothers actually registering the name Multiverses, there's two outcomes to this. Either one, this is a game that's actually happening, and so Warner Brothers definitely needs to like get the copyright name to it of Multiverses, or this person on Reddit just completely made this thing up, and they said, hey, it's going to be called Multiverses. Yeah, that's a fun name. And then somehow, some way, Warner Brothers got wind of this and said, that's actually not a bad idea. Let's copyright the name so that nobody else has trademark to it for future reference. Yeah, maybe we're not going to do anything with it. So, I mean, again, this is a great idea. Let's put that out there. This is an excellent idea. And I think Warner Brothers would, miss the opportunity if they didn't follow through with this, right? But then again, maybe they're just not going to do anything with it. Maybe this could have so many different outcomes. There's so much to this story that we just don't know yet. So much of the story we just don't know yet. But guys, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? What would you think and how would you feel about like a Warner Brothers Multiverses game where Batman is pitted against Johnny Bravo, who's pitted against Gandalf, who's pitted against maybe Harry and Ron, or or not, or Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny is a Warner Brothers character. How would that go? I would love to see this actually come to fruition, but I want to hear your thoughts. What do you guys think about it? Are you excited for it? Is there more to this story that I just don't know yet? Let me know everything that you know and your thoughts and all of that wonderful, lovely stuff down in the comment section below. All right, you guys, our next email of the day comes from the Nerd Zone. And Nerd Zone says, in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, directed by Tim Burton, this is the 2005 movie, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, starring Johnny Depp. Charlie's dad works at a toothpaste factory, Smylex. And in Batman 1989, that's the same gas that Joker used to poison Gotham. Kind of funny, huh? And I'd never heard this before. This is something that is completely new, but apparently something that has been around for a while. If we jump over to Reddit real quick, yeah, Reddit's known about this for a long time. In Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, 2005, Charlie's father works at the Smylex toothpaste factory. Smylex was the name of the poisonous gas created by the Joker in Batman 1989, also directed by Tim Burton. And here's a quick look at the Smylex box that was used in the movie back in 1989. Smylex was like the chemical. It was like the name of the chemical that was the gas, or whatever. There's a really quick scene with Jack Nicholson's Joker where he kind of like breaks through on the news report. Do you remember when like the news lady starts laughing at somebody else's death and then she keels over backwards and then Joker's commercial cuts in and says, "Ooh, we have a new product with Smylex." Like that was the whole thing. Yeah, so it's, are they shared in the same universe? I highly doubt that, but it is kind of a fun little crossover thing. I love it when movies and directors and, Pixar is wonderful at doing this kind of stuff. Pixar has like these little Easter eggs hidden all throughout their movies. But, other big name directors do this same kind of stuff. And I love it whenever they find these opportunities to, here was like a teddy bear that was in that movie, but let's put it in this movie as like, just in the background, just in the background. And anyone who's a fan can, spot it and see it, that kind of stuff. I love stuff like this. Does it mean that Batman and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory take place in the same universe? No. But it's a fun little Easter egg. And, there's not much else to talk about it. But, Nerd Zone, thank you so much for bringing it to our attention. But, guys, I want to hear, what are your favorite crossover Easter eggs? Is there anything in, like, film or television, pop culture in general, that does this kind of thing where, something that played such a prominent role in this movie now is kind of an Easter egg role in that movie? Like I said, Pixar does this all the time, but I want to hear from you guys. What are your favorite crossover Easter eggs? Let me know down in the comment section below. All right, you guys, we have one last email to cover today, and that is this, coming from the Nerd Zone. I woke up this morning and I saw your email and I was like, the new Lightyear teaser trailer has been released and it looks beautiful. Like really beautiful. I've seen a Pixar film. I think you meant I haven't seen a Pixar film look so visually pleasing, and the use of Starman by David Bowie is just amazing. I could not agree more. I grew up with Toy Story, and I got excited hearing about it last year. Last year at the Disney Investors Meeting. And Chris Evans playing, why am I thinking Luke Skywalker? Playing Buzz Lightyear is perfect casting. I'm really excited. Again, that comes from the Nerd Zone. So when I first heard about this, I was like, this sounds like a really cool idea. So again, if you're not completely familiar by this whole idea, like wait a second, a Toy Story movie just about Buzz Lightyear, what's going on? So in the Toy Story movies, Buzz Lightyear is an action figure, but that action figure is based off of a movie that takes place inside of our movie, Toy Story, right? So it's a movie within a movie. So Pete Docter, who's head of Pixar right now, just said, why don't we just make that movie? And now they have. And when they announced it last December at the Disney investors meeting, it sounded like such a cool idea. It was like one of those ideas that sounds like a no-brainer, but you just never stopped to think about it or like consider it, right? And now we get our first teaser trailer for it. You guys, I'm kind of in love with this trailer. Like, Nerd Zone, the way that you phrase this, it looks beautiful, like really beautiful. I haven't seen a Pixar film look so visually pleasing before. And I have to agree. This is probably the most cinematic looking Pixar film that they've ever made yet. Right? This looks so look at the lighting. And it's not just the lighting, it's character design. It still holds true to everything that is Pixar. This very much looks and feels like a Pixar film. But this also looks like an Academy Award winning like level Pixar film. It's the origin stories of Buzz Lightyear. It's how he became a space ranger. It's him growing into this role as a space ranger. Are we going to see Emperor Zurg in here? Maybe, but also maybe not. It's very conceivable that this is going to be the first in a line of series, maybe a trilogy, maybe a duo film. Maybe we don't see Emperor Zurg until much later, much later, because if Pixar was smart, and they are, you want to create a set of stories, like a beginning story, a middle story, and an end story. It's very possible that they could do a Lightyear series in the same way of the original Star Wars films. Star Wars, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. Introduce the main villain. If you introduce Emperor Zurg. Now, this is just a teaser. I am speculating. I am pontificating. I don't know anything. I'm a schmo who lives in New York that loves movies and I talk about them. That's what I do. But let's think about this for a second. If you have this opening film called Lightyear, and then the next year, Lightyear Empire Strikes Back, or Zurg Strikes Back, or whatever, like however you want to title it, introduce the character of Zurg into the second film, let him win, or get the better of Buzz Lightyear, and that's how the movie ends. And then you have Buzz Lightyear coming back in the third film to save the day, and they all have this high cinematic look and feel to them. This really could be something special, you guys. This could really be something special. But we don't know any of that. All we know is that there's a film coming out summer of next June 17th, I believe is the release date, June 17th, 2022. We're just going to get an amazing looking movie that is Buzz Lightyear, being voiced by Chris Evans, who, again, when I first heard it, I was like, wait a second. I love Chris Evans. But Tim Allen is Buzz Lightyear. Tim Allen is Buzz Lightyear. Yeah, but again, the way that this whole thing is framed, this is a film within a movie, right? So you can take some creative license a little bit. You can, de-age his character down in the voice a little bit. Maybe Chris Evans becomes Tim Allen. If they end up doing a film series of like this, Lightyear 1, Lightyear 2, Lightyear 3, whatever, right? Maybe by part 3, Tim Allen's voice kind of like comes into it a little bit. Who knows how this is going to work? Who knows if I'm even on the right track here? I'm just completely speculating because I love Toy Story so much. I was there for the original 1995 release. I was in movie theaters as a kid. I was a kid. I was a teenager when it came out. But it was still exciting. It was fun. It was fresh. It was new. It was different. Nobody had ever seen anything quite like Toy Story before. And then, we get Toy Story 3 and then 4. And, you know, here now we have Lightyear, and this is an exciting trailer for a few reasons. This is an exciting trailer for a few reasons. One, it looks beautiful. Two, it's an exciting trailer. Like, it's actually exciting to watch. And you're again, Nerd Zone, you hit right on the money. David Bowie's Starman is like the perfect song to play underneath this trailer. Or maybe on top of the trailer, however you view things. It was masterful. It got me excited. And I'm not going to lie, when I queued this up on my computer and I watched it with my headphones on and like, okay, I'm zoning in on this, right? I got a little teary-eyed. Because this was so exciting to me. Knowing how Pixar crafts their films and their stories, not everything they've ever done is a slam dunk, but they have an incredible track record. Not only Pixar, Pete Docter. Now, granted, Pete Docter's not directing the film, but he wrote the film and he's, you know, helping to executive produce the film. Pete Docter knows how to tell a good story. If you're not familiar with Pete Docter wrote and directed Inside Out. And then he also wrote and directed Soul, which are some of my favorite Pixar. Inside Out is probably my favorite Pixar movie right now. And then probably goes WALL-E and The Incredibles. And, you know, there's a whole bunch. Toy Story 3 is probably one of my favorites up there. There's a whole bunch. But this movie looks incredible. So knowing the track record that Pixar has behind them and the potential of what they could create in the future moving forward, this just sounds exciting to me. It looks exciting. And there's also moments in this trailer. There's one moment that feels you can see Buzz Lightyear, and there's another character. I don't know who this other character is, but it looks like some kind of an alien, and they're looking up above a rock, almost kind of like, what happened over there? I'm hiding. Oh no, danger, right? And they look up from above the rock. And there's something about that that felt very Empire Strikes Back to me. And I think that's kind of where I was going with this whole like trilogy thing. There's a cinematic quality to this film that feels very Star Wars to me, but not in the sci-fi aspect, but in the grounded operatic character piece that was the original Star Wars. And there's that sequence that feels very much like it took place on Dagobah. You right? Like you see this Buzz Lightyear spaceship kind of in this foresty, jungly area with all this mist kind of surrounding it. I don't know what is going on with this particular screen right here that keeps refreshing. I don't like that. But it has this incredible sense of scope, sense of gravitas. And again, just look at this still right here. Look at this still of Buzz Lightyear being kind of like enveloped or engulfed in like this snake-like tentacle creature thing. It looks great. Like like the visuals to this just look phenomenal. Anyway, I'm gushing about this here, and I'm sure that I will continue to gush. But you guys, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts about the Lightyear trailer? Granted, it's a teaser, and this movie is 8 months out. So we got some time, a little more than 8 months. We got some time to sit with it before it actually comes to fruition, before we actually get an actual, like a first trailer, you know. I assume we're going to get a whole bunch of trailers for this. We might get 2 teasers. This is just the first teaser. It's also 8 months out, so that's incredibly early to drop a first teaser. But anyway, what are your thoughts about this? I want to hear everything that you have to think about it. What are your theories? Do you think this is going to spawn a film series? Or do you think it's going to be a standalone? Or do you think that Pixar is going to wait and see what the reception for this is? There's so much to unpack here, and I want to talk about all of it with you guys down in the comment section below. All right, you guys, as promised at the beginning of the show, it is now that portion of the show. It's that time to jump in and take your live comments. You guys have been very vocal in the comment section below, so let's jump in and see what you guys have to say.
It's alive! It's alive!
All right, you guys. It is time to jump in and take your live comments and questions as you've been commenting all show long. Let's jump in and take the first one now from Nerd Zone. Nerd Zone says, welcome back, mate. Nice to see you. It is wonderful to have you here, Nerd Zone. Thank you so much, sir. Gonna see Dune tomorrow. I was gonna see Venom 2, but I think I'm just gonna wait for that to come out on Blu-ray because I'm not that keen on watching it. Well, first of all, I'm so excited that you are going to go see Dune tomorrow. Kim and I, like, our schedules over the past maybe like 2 weeks before we got married up until now, and we've been married for 3 weeks and 5 days. We've been married for almost 4 weeks, almost a month now. And our schedules have just been nonstop. Like, we just go, and we barely have had a chance to go to the theaters. So it was either go see Dune the other day or go see Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. And we went to go see Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. If you're worried about spoilers, let me put it this way. If you're worried about spoilers, I'd say go watch Venom. It's not a good movie. It's a fun movie. It's an exciting movie. There's a lot of great action. There's a lot of great comedy. And I enjoyed it. I think I liked the first Venom a little better. There's the character... Oh, I can't believe that we're talking character development in Venom. But I think the first Venom had better character development in it, right? Let There Be Carnage was... It was a little short. I think this is the kind of movie that could have benefited a lot from it being an additional 15 to 20 minutes. But 15 to 20 minutes of story. None of the fight sequences made any sense. They just happened with shoestring logic, shall I say. But it was fun. It was a fun movie. There's some interesting things that they did. And that's all the more I'm going to say about that. So let me just say, if you were worried about spoilers, if you don't want to learn spoilers that have come out from Venom 2 or any of these spoilers that, let me just say, mean anything, then I would say go watch Venom. Let There Be Carnage. Not for the greatness that is the film, because it's not a great movie. It's a fun movie. It's worth your time. But it moves. It moves, man. It moves. But if you're worried about spoilers, I would definitely say go see Venom before these spoilers hit your eyeballs. Otherwise, yeah, enjoy Dune, man. I am looking forward to it. So all that is to say, Kim and I haven't had a moment to figure out when we're going to go see Dune. We may do that this weekend. I would like to go see it this weekend. My cousin in Philadelphia has been wanting to try and figure out a time when we can meet up, whether it's here in New York or more likely down in Philly, so we can all kind of go see Dune together, because he and his daughter are really looking forward for us to all kind of see it together. So hopefully we can make that happen. Maybe this weekend. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Fubuki Jaime Gaming says, hi, Mark Brown. We already addressed this earlier, but hello, Fubuki Gaming. Fubuki Jaime Gaming. Fubuki Jaime Gaming says, Saw 10 has been confirmed, so you should talk about it. Really? Hang on a second. Saw 10. Looking it up now. Saw 10 reportedly already in the works. This is from Collider from earlier this year, from April of this year. Let me bring this up real quick so you guys can see what it is that I'm seeing. Okay. Saw 10 reportedly already in development ahead of release of Spiral. Now, Spiral's already come out. Get ready to play a game for the 10th time. Lionsgate currently seems to have high hopes for Spiral, the Book of Saw, as a 10th Saw movie is already supposedly in development. The latest issue of Production Weekly, via Bloody Disgusting, lists Saw 10 as a project in active development, and even without an official announcement, the odds are that one of our favorite horror franchises is planning big things for the future. Saw 10 is reportedly produced by James Wan, who's done some incredible work, who has been the executive producer on every movie of the franchise since directing the first Saw. Okay, so yada 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 yada. Yeah, so that seems like the vast majority of what's going on there. I had no idea. B, I think it's cool for the franchise that they keep going down this rabbit hole. Like, hey, man, if they're making money, keep doing more because it means people like it. I am not a fan of the horror franchise. I have not seen a single Saw movie, and that includes Spiral. I don't like fear being put inside of me. You know, like that feeling of dread? Not a fan of it. I don't like being scared. I went to go see, I'll tell you this, Fubuki Jaime Gaming. I went to go see It Chapter 1 when it came out. Now, I watched all the previews, I watched all the trailers, and I watched as much spoilery stuff as I could get my hands on so that I could go into this movie prepared, right? I knew what to expect. But it was apparently, like, if you've seen It Chapter 1, you know they set a high bar. That is an excellent movie. But it scared the living daylights out of me way more than I ever expected it to. Like, yes, it's a horror movie. Yes, it's a scary movie. But, like, I didn't quite understand how scary this movie was going to be. So after watching this movie with two of my best friends, I had to sleep with the lights on. I'm a grown adult. I'm in my late 30s. Now, granted, It Chapter 1 came out a few years ago, so I was in my mid-30s at the time when this movie came out, and I had to sleep with the lights on every night for 4 months. I'm not joking. This is not an exaggeration. No hyperbole. I had to sleep with the lights on for 4 months because I was so doggone terrified that if I turn the lights off, and at the time I slept in a loft bed, so I had to climb up a ladder to get into the bed. I was terrified that as I climbed up the ladder, Pennywise was going to be right behind me. Now I understand this is a stupid phobia. I understand. Like, it's called an irrational fear for a reason, but when you put that kind of fear into my brain with my overactive imagination that I have, which actually serves me very well. I'm able to create. I'm able to tell stories. I'm able to create characters. And that's something that my imagination helps me do. That is a positive influence on my life. But the negative influence is that I get so involved in the characters that I'm watching on screen, I put myself in their place. So if I'm watching X-Men or Avengers or Star Wars or whatever, I'm enthralled because that is the tone that the filmmaker is trying to get me to believe. I'm inspired by that kind of stuff. I love that kind of stuff. And because I get to live that adventure vicariously through those characters. Additionally, and this is the downside, I also live those adventures vicariously through the people being terrorized on screen, whether it's It Chapter 1, It Chapter 2, what are some other scary movies that I've seen? The Descent, that messed me up. Man, like someone is like that's why I can't watch horror movies, because they scare me so profoundly. It's just hard for me to deal with, and I don't like that feeling of dread. I don't like that feeling of paranoia. I hate looking over my shoulder, especially as a grown adult. It's terrifying. Yeah, so all that is to say, I love that this is happening. Saw 10, yeah, If the franchise is working, keep milking it. Keep doing what you're doing because you're doing something right. Same thing with Fast and the Furious. If people still go out to see these movies, if they're still making money, make more, man. People are going to love James Bond. We just had our 25th movie. There's 25 James Bond movies and 3 non-official James Bond movies. So, like, keep making more. Keep doing it. Nerdzone says, we already talked about Home Alone. Cinema joke. Oh, man. Home Sweet Home Alone is the name of the new Home Alone film coming out on Disney Plus. It's just a straight up remake. It's a straight up remake. It's not necessarily a hold on, wait. I'm getting this confused. It's a reboot. It's not a remake because a remake would have Kevin McAllister. It would take place in Chicago. It would have almost the exact same beats as the original film. This does not. This is a reboot. Similar, has the same concept, has very similar story beats, but with different characters in a different place in a different time. So this takes place somewhere in England. It might as well be London. Probably is London. Same thing. Kid's family goes off on holiday. He gets left all home alone for the holidays, for Christmas, in his own home. 2 burglars show up and they try to burglarize the place. I do believe the burglars are being played by Ellie Kemper and Peter from Deadpool 2 with the mustache. Oh, what is his name? Can't think of his name. Anyway, and the little boy playing the Kevin McAllister part, I don't actually know his character's name in this film. He was in Jojo Rabbit. He was the little boy who was like the friend of Jojo Rabbit. With the glasses and everything. He's a great actor. Nothing against him or his acting styles, sensibilities, or abilities. He's a great actor. He's really funny and very charismatic, and I'm very interested to see where this kid's career goes in the future. But this movie, Home Sweet Home Alone, looks terrible. It looks unapologetically bad. And for all of the reboots for Disney to do, I don't know, man. I mean, if it's making money, I literally just said about Saw 10. If it's making money, hey, make more. If it makes money, I guess, but oh, that looks so bad. Nerdzone says, if you don't know the joke, Kevin McAllister is apparently Jigsaw. It's a film theory. Oh, well, I mean, okay, yeah. I've heard that theory, but no, I would not have immediately made that connection. But there are Macaulay Culkin, I want to say a few years ago, maybe like 5 years ago, did a series of shorts. I don't know who produced them. They're on YouTube, but he did a series of shorts where he is playing like the adult version of Kevin McAllister. Like Kevin McAllister grew up and became kind of not a serial killer, but something akin to it. So yes, I'm familiar with the connection, but not the specificity of what you referenced. Nerdzone says, yeah, my mom said no to Skyglass because she thinks our Wi-Fi is too awful. It's all right. Not the best as Sky advertises, but it's all right. Sky does Wi-Fi routers as well, and our Wi-Fi connection is way better than our satellite connection. So yeah, I mean, I think all of that is just who's your Wi-Fi provider, you know? Here in the U.S., specifically in New York, I used to be Optimum for a very long time. This probably will mean nothing to you, Nerdzone, but Optimum is a big internet provider on the East Coast. Huge internet provider. And they're not known for their reliability in service or strength of signal or, you know, whatever. Speed. They're not known for their speed. So when Kim and I moved into this apartment here in Harlem, we switched our provider from Optimum to Verizon. And as much as I want to hate Verizon, they've got some amazing internet. This is a drastic improvement from what our Optimum used to be. And I mean like 20 times improvement. Like there's a way for you to check the speed of how fast your internet works. And I want to say that with Optimum, it was something like 20, 30 megabytes a second, something like that. Of course, I'm getting these numbers wrong. But then when we switched to Verizon, it jumped to like 300, something like, say megabytes, is probably gigabytes. But you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, the quality jumped up by a ton. So yeah. So whatever is going on with Sky and their Wi-Fi, I mean, I can understand not wanting to upgrade to the glass TV, because if your Wi-Fi doesn't work that well, you might want to get that situated first. Let me know what you guys end up doing in the future. Where did we go? Nerdzone says, by the way, what did you think of the Batman trailer? Absolutely amazing. And yes, just like I said in the email, I still prefer this over NWH. NWH. What is NWH? I grew up with Batman, so I'm more excited. What is NWH? I still prefer this. I'm not sure what NWH is. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Clarify that for me, please. What did you think of the Batman trailer? Dude. This looks incredible. The pandemic has really soured my excitement for movies. I used to get really pumped and really excited for movies. And the pandemic has just yucked all over my yum. And in a way that's hard for me to quantify, but you know, there's movies that I should be excited for, like James Bond. I should be excited for it. I just wasn't. I saw it. Meh. It was okay. It was fine. I guess it was a decent end to the Daniel Craig run. I should have been excited for Venom. I should be excited for Eternals. I should be excited for a whole bunch of things, but I'm just not. I'm looking forward to seeing them. I'm definitely 1,000% interested in watching these movies, but excited is not a word that I would use to describe my feeling towards them. Ghostbusters Afterlife is one that I am genuinely excited to see. And a lot of that has to do with their early screenings of the film and audience reactions to it. Audiences are like going nuts for this movie, and hopefully rightfully so. So I would say that I am excited for Ghostbusters Afterlife when it comes out next month. I am excited for Spider-Man No Way Home. Not on the same level that I was excited for Infinity War, but I am excited for it. But the Batman, I don't know if I would put it at the top of the list, but my goodness, I am excited for this film. And these trailers, I mean, there's only 2 trailers out right now. There's the teaser and then the official trailer, but it looks good. And Nirvana is my favorite band of all time. That's just me. I'm not saying they're the best band of all time, but they are my favorite band of all time. And the fact that the teaser had a really slowed down version of Something in the Way, which was, it was perfect. It was perfect for that trailer. And then this trailer has, what was it? Was it, I don't think it was Smells Like Teen Spirit. It was it Lithium? Is that the song that they had playing in the background? Or was it All Apologies? Maybe it was I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. But it was a slowed down version of a Nirvana song. And it just, like, the slowed down version just really has this dark, like, unsettled feeling that comes out in the trailer. And the story of the trailer looks incredible. it's taken me a while to wrap my brain around Robert Pattinson. I really wanted to love Robert Pattinson when he was announced as playing Bruce Wayne, the Batman. And then I went through and I watched a whole bunch of his films just to kind of like reacquaint myself with his acting style that is not Twilight. I went through a whole bunch of like his indie films like Good Times. Was it? Oh shoot! So like the Childhood of a Dictator, I think was another one. The Lighthouse. A lot of these indie films that he's done before. I wanted to get more acquainted with his acting style, and after watching a lot of the films that he was in, I wasn't that sold on his acting style. I was like, I don't know. I was really excited for it first, and then I started watching his movies, and I kind of tapered off in excitement for him playing Batman. But now that the trailers are coming out, and granted, he's not heavily featured in the trailers, so not really sure how his acting style is going to come across in this film. But these trailers look dynamite, like really dynamite. So yes, I am over the moon for the Batman. It looks phenomenal, and I love this dark kind of stuff. Like the Joker movie, the standalone Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix. Man, I love that movie more than most. I unapologetically love that movie. Nerdzone says also that Flash teaser with Burton's Batcave, with the classic Elfman music. As someone that grew up on Batman 1989, it's fan service, yeah, but you can still enjoy it. Well, I mean, there's this idea that is fan service. Sorry, let me back up. There's this idea that exists in pop culture that if you pay fan service to a certain thing, then that's a negative thing. There's nothing wrong with fan service. Fan service is amazing. It means you're servicing the fans. You're giving the fans what they want. Is that cheating? Not necessarily. I mean, sometimes pandering can be a bad thing, right? But sometimes it can be an incredible thing. So, yeah, no, I don't see that as a bad thing. Plus, if the Flash movie is, in fact, what it's kind of promising to be, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense for Michael Keaton's Batman to be set in the same Batcave as the 1989 and 1992 set. Like, why wouldn't it be? It's the same character. It's the same incarnation. It's that universe's Batman. So if Barry Allen can jump from this universe to that universe, which has clearly already happened in the trailer, because there's two versions of Ezra Miller Flash, and there's also a female Flash. I'm unfamiliar. I'm not that well versed in DC, you guys. I'm more of a Marvel guy. But I mean, yeah. So there's a lady Flash in this kind of like 3-person Flash narrative that's happening. So like, yeah, he's clearly crossing over from this universe to that universe to another universe. So of course it would make perfect sense that Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne, that incarnation, pops up. Is it fan service? I mean, narratively, it needs, like, if that's what's happening, then, like, it just needs to be that way, right? So Nerdzone says, oh my gosh, I just got a mountain of pulled pork for dinner, about to dig in. Oh, can I come over? Can I, are you going to save me a little bit of that? Dude, when it comes to barbecue, I love, like, pulled pork. I love brisket. Oh, I love all that stuff. So, yeah, you say a mountain of pulled pork? That's my jam right there. Nerdzone says, can I just say James Earl Jones as Zurg for Lightyear, please? Yeah, why not? You know, we say that after we literally just talked about fan service. I think that might actually be a negative version of fan service, right? That might be a good example of what not to do with fan service. Because if Emperor Zurg is the Toy Story or the Lightyear version of Darth Vader, and they've already recast Tim Allen with Chris Evans, that might be a little too pandering. So if you did do a more gravitas version of that, I would say put Idris Elba in there, man. He's got a great voice on him. And I think that would be more akin to like a James Earl Jones, Zurg, Darth Vader type character. Just my 2 cents. Nerd Zone, by the way, the ship that Buzz launches into space in the trailer looks like the box the toy well, yeah, I mean it's supposed to. It's supposed to look like the same box or the same ship that the Buzz Lightyear toy came in the movie Toy Story, right? Because it's, if you think about it, this is the movie within the movie. So if you go to Toy Story, the box that the Buzz Lightyear action figure comes in is based on the spaceship from the movie, right? So like the attention to detail in this is phenomenal. It's, I dare say, perfect. Of course, we haven't seen the movie yet, so I mean, who knows? It could be a heaping pile of trash. But I highly doubt that. Nerd Zone says, can I just say, if you had a childhood that didn't have Toy Story in it, I feel so bad for your childhood. Oh, feel not sorry for me. I almost called you son. Feel not sorry for me. My childhood was rife with so many wonderful IPs. Here's the thing. I got to have a childhood that in many ways you didn't. Growing up in the 80s was spectacular. We had Transformers. We had Ninja Turtles. And not that you didn't, but we had the original. And if the originals didn't work, now I'm not saying, oh, I had the original, so we're better. That's not the point that I'm trying to make. The point that I'm trying to make is that when you have a toy series that endures the test of time, which a lot of these have. Transformers has endured. Ninja Turtles has endured. X-Men has endured. Spider-Man has endured. I'm looking around. What else is here? Star Wars. DuckTales. Darkwing Duck. Rescue Rangers. What else do we have? Pee-wee Herman. So many different of these characters and things. G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe hasn't necessarily withstood the test of time, but it has endured, right? You have these classic shows, these toys, these IPs, if you will, that were so good. The original concept, the original versions of them were so incredible that they have spawned new life. Looney Tunes. They've kept going and they've kept reinventing themselves. Now, I say the original Ninja Turtles was so good, but I contend, I need to eat my words here a little bit. The 2012 cartoon, the 2012 incarnation of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I contend is the best version of Ninja Turtles that there's ever been. And that was not the original. So, yes, take some of what I'm saying with a grain of salt, but to have a childhood that didn't have Toy Story in it, I was a teenager when Toy Story came out. Admittedly, I got some of the toys. I didn't have a Woody. But I did have, I never had a Buzz Lightyear, but I did have the Slinky Dog. I got the Mr. Potato Head, like the Toy Story branded Slinky Dog and the Toy Story branded Mr. Potato Head. And I feel like there was another one in there somewhere. But that's the interesting thing about growing up, right? Is that I don't want to say pick and choose the things that you're going to latch onto, but holding on and maintaining that sense of childlike wonder and fulfillment and inspiration from a child's perspective, but with the cognitive function of being an adult, plays into creativity, right? And it spawns new creativity. So by the time the Toy Story came around, I had all of this other stuff to rely on and lay back on and be like, oh, Jurassic Park, oh, X-Men, oh, Ninja Turtles, oh, this, oh, that, blah, 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 blah. You know, today's generation, give it 10, 15 years, are going to look back and be like, you guys grew up in a world with that where the Avengers weren't a part of your childhood? That's going to be somebody's story, right? That's somebody's story right now, and will continue to be somebody's story, right? So that's an interesting concept to which I look back and say, yeah, that's why it meant so much more to us when we did get those things, because we're waiting for that. We're waiting for an Avengers 2012 movie for decades. And we never thought it was ever going to happen. We never thought something like that could be possible. And not only was it possible, it is the highest. Is it still the highest grossing? Or did, I think Avatar took that title back. I think Avatar may have taken that title back. It doesn't matter. Neither here nor there. At one point, it was the highest grossing film franchise of all time. And movie, really. All right, let's move on. Nerdzone says, whoa, where did we go? I lost my place. I lost my place. Gotta go back 'cause I lost my place. Wow. I missed a lot of stuff here. Okay, Nerdzone says, let's do a challenge, Mike. So Pixar does have an Easter egg for the next film. So Luca must have... Oh, okay. So Pixar does Easter eggs for its next film, so on and so forth. So Luca must have a Lightyear Easter egg. Let's find that. You know, I still haven't seen Luca, but now that you've issued this challenge, I'm in. Luca did not look that good to me. It looked like a charming story, an endearing story. I'm sure it was fine, but it didn't look anything special to me. But now that you've issued this challenge accepted. I will find that Easter egg if there is one to be found. Nerdzone says, I feel like Lightyear will be amazing for sci-fi because in sci-fi, they have to make the visual effects match with the real world. But since it's animated, you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, I mean, that's all. It's a world that you get to create in and of itself. And here's another observation. Just because Pixar has a very specific look and tone to it, doesn't necessarily mean that they have to stick to that either. They could go off and do something very different if they wanted. You go to this world and it looks like this. You go to that world and it looks like that. So if they wanted, it's more of a creative challenge as opposed to, oh boy, now we got to make this stuff look all the same. They kind of could have a little bit of fun with that. Fubuki Jaime Gaming says the Lightyear movie will spawn a film series. I hope so, man. I hope so, because, granted, I was just spitballing earlier when I came up with these like fan theories and whatever, but if this movie has the type of gravitas that it looks like it does, there's no reason to me that they shouldn't do a sequel, that they shouldn't do a threequel, do multiple versions of this and, use the first Lightyear movie as your jumping off point. That's your A New Hope, if you will. And then the next movie is your Empire Strikes Back. And your next movie after that, Return of the Jedi. Now, granted, this is textbook Joseph Campbell, A Hero's Journey, right? Textbook. And, I don't mean to keep coming back to the Star Wars example, but it's kind of a classic example. You want to do Frodo. Great. You have Fellowship of the Ring, then you have Two Towers, then you have Return of the King, right? You have that 3-part story arc that could be each movie could be its self-contained story, but I don't see this not being a franchise. I mean, it already is a franchise, but you know what I mean. Dominica May says, I haven't seen the Lightyear trailer yet. I've been gushing over the latest Cowboy Bebop trailer, though. All right, you guys know my relationship when it comes to anime. I'm not a huge anime fan. I don't like anime. Everybody I have ever known says, "Oh, well, you've just never come across the right anime yet." That's not true. I've watched a bunch of anime. I've watched a few episodes of Cowboy Bebop. I've watched a few episodes of Attack on Titan. Is that the name of it? I think so. I've watched episodes of this. I've even watched anime Batman. I've watched anime X-Men. I've watched anime all kinds of stuff. I've watched Spirited Away, like a few movies that the Spirited Away guy did. I just don't care for it. I just don't like the style of it. I don't like the feel of it. So when I watched the Cowboy Bebop trailer, it didn't mean anything to me. It meant nothing. And in fact, as a trailer, Dominica, you were probably going to go, when I say this, I actually stopped watching the trailer halfway through. It didn't grab me. I didn't like it. So this it might be heresy. I'm sorry. I stopped watching the Cowboy Bebop trailer. It just didn't do anything for me. It didn't look interesting to me. But from what I hear, it's a great trailer based on, if you're familiar with the Cowboy Bebop stuff. If you like Cowboy Bebop, a lot of people, I am in the minority here, you guys. I understand that. I just don't like anime. And I think they tried to make a movie that felt like a live action anime. And that's not my thing. That's not my jam. So if you're into that, hey, great. This is probably one of the most exciting properties and movies upcoming for you. Or this is a TV show, isn't it? I think it's a TV show. So cool. I'm excited for you. It just didn't do anything for me. I'm sorry. I just didn't like it. But I'm so glad that you are gushing over it. So keep gushing, Dominica. Keep doing your thing. Nerdzone says the end credits were spoilt for me for Venom 2 because the early viewings, you guys got it 2 weeks earlier. Yeah, that's a huge problem, man. That's a huge problem. When some movies get released in some countries earlier than others, I don't know how I avoided it because I saw Venom. Venom came out a few weeks ago. Yeah, I mean, and I only saw it just a few days ago, so I knew that there were spoilers at the end of the movie, and I didn't know what they were, but I knew there were spoilers, and so that's kind of why I wanted to go see it, so I didn't get it spoiled for me. Where'd we go? Nerdzone says Cowboy Bebop doesn't intrigue me after I watched Death Note 2017 as a fan of the manga and anime. I refuse to watch a live-action adaptation of anime ever again. Well, I mean, now here I'm going to defend anime for a second. I think that might be a little unfair because it's like saying I didn't like the Super Mario Brothers movie, so it really put me off a video game movie, so I'm never going to watch a video game movie ever again, right? I mean, that's the same kind of logic. I didn't like this live-action adaptation of an anime film, so I will never watch a live-action anime property ever again. That's a little unfair to say, because each thing is its own thing, right? So you can't judge a book by its cover. You can't judge a genre by its cover, right? Each property is its own individual thing. So, I mean, give it a shot. Give it a chance. Like, check it out. What do you have to lose? A couple hours? Big deal. What else are you doing, right? Nerdzone says, I heard about Dragon Ball Evolution being bad. Oh. Yeah. Here's the thing. Avatar: The Last Airbender got so much hate. M. Night Shyamalan took so much hatred from people. And while it didn't hold up, granted, I've never watched the cartoon series. I saw the live action movie. I didn't hate it. It was fine. I didn't care about it. But I also didn't watch the original series. So I didn't have this grounded love and passion for this property. So when M. Night Shyamalan came along and did this movie adaptation, I didn't have a background for it to be like, oh, I love this, or oh, I hate this, you know? But yeah, Dragon Ball Evolution. Again, I've seen a few episodes of Dragon Ball Z. So that came out when I was a kid, and I tried to get into it. I started watching it because all my friends were watching it, and they all loved it. So I tried to watch it because they loved it, and I just didn't like it. So I ended up not watching it. So, but I was somewhat familiar. With Dragon Ball Z, and then I watched the movie when it came out. Oh, it was so bad. It's unforgivably terrible. It's really, really bad. There's a lot of like hate reviews of that, which is actually kind of funny if you go down the rabbit hole on YouTube. Watch some of those hate reviews because, Dragon Ball Evolution is really, really bad. Dominica May says, I haven't been interested in any other live-action anime adaptations. Haven't seen any as far as I can recall. I refuse to see Ghost in the Shell in particular. I did see Ghost in the Shell. I liked it for what it was. Again, I'm not big on anime, but I don't know. Scarlett Johansson did a fine job. It was a decent movie. It was okay. I believe I saw it in London, actually, is where I saw it. Was it London? Yeah, I think it was London. Yeah, it was fine. Didn't hate it. It was okay. It was a decent watch. Dominica says, but Cowboy Bebop has me feeling hopeful. The cinematography looks great. Yeah, I will give the first half of the trailer that I watched. Yeah, the cinematography looks awesome. It's just not, I don't know, just doesn't look great. Dominica May said, to me, in my opinion, it doesn't look great. But that's, I am in the minority there. Dominica says, the upcoming Home Alone Lego set looks amazing, though. It does. Yeah, the Home Alone. So Lego, if you're not familiar, here, let me try to bring this up. Lego Home Alone. Let's see if this comes up. Here's a Target. Holiday price match guarantee. Okay, come on, Target. Pull up the page. Show me what you want to show me. Oh, come on. You can do it. Come on. Oh, well, now it's not bringing up the Home Alone set. Okay, I don't want to spend a lot of time looking for this thing, but here we go. Okay, here we go. All right. So the Home Alone set, Lego set, delivers lots of cheery Christmas joy. And here it is. Here's the inside of the Lego house or rather the home from Home Alone, the house, Kevin McAllister's house. Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. So many fun little vignettes. Of course, here's, Kevin McAllister watching Angels with Filthy Souls. Hey, I'm eating ice cream and watching rubbish. Somebody come out and stop me. It's like the Michael Jordan on the on the train set going around. Like, this thing just looks fun. This looks so fun. I would love to have this in my collection. In my Lego collection, or just toy collection in general. But yeah, this looks really cool, you guys. I would love to be the owner of that Lego set. Yeah, I want one. Nerdzone says, Mike, NWH means no way home. Oh, thank you. All right, so let's go back up to this original comment that you left. Where you said, by the way, what did you think of the Batman trailer? Absolutely amazing. And yes, just like I said in the email, I still prefer this over No Way Home. Thank you. I was like, NWH, what does that stand for? What is that? I don't know. Thank you for that clarification. I appreciate that. Nerdzone says, that Home Alone set is amazing. and it's a part of the Lego Ideas brand, which is when fans make their own sets, and if they get over 100,000 votes, it can become a set in and of itself. That I did not know. One set that got 100,000 votes that still hasn't been released yet, that I'm still waiting for, is the Sonic Mania set. What is Sonic Mania set? All right, let's go down this rabbit hole. Sonic Mania Lego. All right, doop boop boop doop doo. 2021's top 5 Lego sets. Our top picks will surprise you. Lego announces Supersonic fan design. Okay, here we go. Whoa, this looks cool. Yes, I accept all cookies. Whoa, this is good. All right, you guys got to see this. Look at this. Wow, Dr. Robotnik. There's Sonic. So this is something that... Okay. Early February this year, Lego Ideas today announced they will be bringing Sega's legendary speedster Sonic the Hedgehog to brick form thanks to a concept design submitted by 24-year-old UK-based Lego superfan Viv Grenell. Viv, also a passionate Sonic fan, created her design as a submission to the Lego Ideas platform, a Lego initiative that takes new ideas that have been imagined and voted for by fans, turns them into reality. Viv's design was inspired by blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but wow. That looks cool, you guys. That looks really cool. Lego. Lego. I need more Lego. Dominica says, yep, I plan to get the Home Alone set at some point, but it'll take me a while before I build it because of all the other sets I've been waiting to build. Yeah, like the Jurassic Park set that you just got? Oh, I know what's going on. Dominica says, I'm way more Marvel too. I just rebought Batman Returns, though. I mean, Batman Returns, it's arguably, it's a Christmas movie, but it's also just a fun movie. What I love about Batman Returns is that it's so distinctly a Tim Burton movie. Yes, it's a Batman movie, but it's a Tim Burton movie. The original Batman has a few Tim Burton elements in it, but it's not a Tim Burton movie. When you think Tim Burton, you think like Beetlejuice, you think Nightmare Before Christmas, which is directed by Henry Selick. That just needs to go without saying, or with saying, because he doesn't get the love and credit that he deserves. You think Edward Scissorhands. You think of Frankenweenie. You think of his original short, Vincent. You don't necessarily think Batman. Batman Returns definitely has that feel to it. So, such a great movie. Oh, so good. Nerdzone says, as a Batman fan, I was not a fan of Batman Returns as Batman. I feel like each 80s and 90s Batman film dips in quality, which is a shame, really, and literally killed Batman in Hollywood. Well, I mean, I will argue this point with you, sir. Batman 1989 was the original definitive Batman movie, right? It was the first time that we got a real grounded, fun action, big budget, at the time, grounded in reality. It was Hollywood reality, but it was still it was pulling a lot of inspiration from Frank Miller's The Dark Knight, right? So it was incredible. It was unparalleled. And then we get Batman Returns, which Tim Burton only agreed to do. He didn't want to do a sequel. In fact, Tim Burton doesn't do sequels, right? He did the sequel to Alice Through the Looking Glass. But traditionally, by and large, Tim Burton does not do sequels to his movies. So with Batman Returns, he only agreed to do it because the first one made so much money. Warner Brothers was like, we need you back. We need you to come back and do the sequel. And he said, I'll only do it if I can do it my way. And they said, great. Go make Tim Burton's Batman. Don't just make Batman. Make Tim Burton's Batman. And Tim Burton's Batman. Batman Returns is arguably a better film. It's arguably a more popular film than Batman 1989 because it has that Tim Burton infused art to it. It's very much a Tim Burton film as opposed to a studio Hollywood Batman movie, right? It very uniquely has his fingerprint all over it. And I think that's what people like about it. Batman Returns was my first Batman. It was my first live action foray into Batman. I never saw Batman 89 until after I saw Batman Returns. That's just how I saw them. And so I will always unapologetically love Batman Returns. Now, you say that it dips in quality. I beg to differ. The quality that, now correct me if I'm wrong, but the quality that it seems like you're referring to that it dips in is its relationship to its wackiness. It's more wacky than the first one. I mean, the first one, 89, Batman 89, definitely had its wacky qualities, but Batman Returns was a little bit wackier, right? But that doesn't mean that it's a lesser of a movie. It just means that it took a different art direction, a different style, right? And I really dug it. I really dug it. The next film, directed by Joel Schumacher, which came out in 1995, I believe, with Val Kilmer, that took a very different direction. Joel Schumacher wanted to do something very, very different. And it was, arguably Neon Batman. Now, Batman Forever, while I do think it's not quite as good as the first two Tim Burton films, Batman Forever was it was a very, very interesting movie. It has a very specific tone, a very specific taste, and it's not a bad movie. I would have reeled in Jim Carrey a little bit, and I also would have reeled in Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. They're very wacky incarnations of those characters and cartoonish versions of those characters. I still think they work, but they're very cartoonish, right? Now, I think we can all agree, Batman and Robin was just an abysmal film. You can hate watch it, you can laugh watch it. It's not a good movie. It's a very, very poorly done film. But it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to watch. Only for its absurd cartoonish nature. That's it. That's its only redeeming quality. But yeah, then of course, Christopher Nolan kind of brought back the Batman franchise and kind of grounded it from what it previously had been as a joke. But no, I will argue that Batman Returns is that it dips in quality. I will argue that point a little bit. Nerd Zone continues to say, well, oh man, why does this keep jumping? Stop jumping. Well, until we got the amazing Christopher Nolan movies, which is way better than any MCU movie. Sorry, I just had to say. Well, I mean, you put that out there, but I will not argue with. Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. Now, The Dark Knight Rises, I take issue with. I think it is the least of the three movies. It has some hardcore story problems that movie very much suffers from. But I really like what they did with Bane. And there's a lot in that movie that I really do enjoy. But The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger, to date, might be the best comic book movie ever made, in my opinion. I've said this for many years. Avengers Endgame, a lot of people tout as the culmination of everything that there ever was and is the greatest comic book movie ever made. It is the most ambitious comic book movie ever made. I'll give you that. But yeah, I still think that The Dark Knight, 2008's The Dark Knight is the best comic book movie ever made. I think the Avengers 2012's Avengers might be number 2 to that. But yeah, Christopher Nolan is a master. Nerdzone says, I will say The Dark Knight Rises has terrible flaws, though, that distract me. Yeah. Yep. I literally just touched on that. Dominica May says, LOL, oh man, Michael Keaton was my Batman. I enjoyed the Tim Burton films. It's just part of my youth. I hadn't read any of the comics at that point. I loved Catwoman, dressed as her for Halloween once. Yeah, I mean, that Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman costume still to this day is a classic Catwoman costume. People still cosplay as that incarnation of Catwoman. It's great. It's class. It's wonderful. But yeah, Michael Keaton was my Batman too. But I don't know. I really like how Christopher Nolan did that for. They're all different, right? They're all different flavors, and I'm not going to say I like them all because I'm not so sure that George Clooney should have ever played Batman. But we'll talk about that later. Nerdzone says, yeah, I grew up with Keaton and Bale actually I grew up with Keaton more than Bale. Actually, just Batman Returns for me was good. Not great, but good. I think I understand what it is you're saying. I grew up with Keaton more than Bale, and actually just Batman Returns for me was good. Not great, but good. Okay, yeah. So there we go. I love it. I don't know if it's obviously not my favorite Batman movie. I think that title goes to The Dark Knight, but it's a fun one. I do like that movie a lot. Dominica May says, LOL, it's fine, Mike. Anime isn't for everyone. And thank you for that. Because a lot of people, whenever I say I don't like anime, they beat me over the head with it and say, you just haven't found the right one yet. Come on, guys. Superhero films are not for everyone. You can't go to every single person that doesn't like a superhero film and say, wow, well, you just haven't seen the right one yet. Believe me, I've tried. And it's not true. Like, all film is subjective. I don't like foreign film. You just haven't found the right foreign film. Slow your roll. Dominica May says, I think Cowboy Bebop looks like a fan service. Again, nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with fan service. Fan service actually serves a purpose. It services the fans. It gives them what they want. If all you do is fan service with no character development and with no story, then yeah, that's a bad thing. Good character development does not make up for a bad story. And a good story does not make up for bad character development. You need both. And with that, if you want to put fan service in there with a good story and good character development, then great. There's nothing wrong with that. But, I mean, there's the stigma against fan service that you shouldn't do it. Why not? You're servicing the fans. You're giving them what they want. Dominica May says, go to the Lego site. It's out November 1st. I think you're talking about the Home Alone set. Which I already looked up. Dominica says, yes, exactly. Jurassic Park, Roller Coaster, Ant-Man, Bachelor Pad, Thor, etc., and so on. Yeah, man. You've got your homework cut out for you. You've got a lot of Lego sets to build before we keep moving on. Dominica says, yeah, I think I watched Batman Returns first too. Because Dominica, you and I are similar ages, so I think I may have been a little too young when. Semantics, really, because it's a difference of 3 years. But yeah, I think I may have been a little too young when the first Batman 89 came out. And when 1992 rolled around, I was kind of the right age at that point, right? Nerdzone says, I watched Batman 89 first because this is going to sound stupid, but in the Lego Batman 2 game, which was my definitive Batman as a child, he wore the Burton suit in that game. So there you go. Dominica goes, what? Nerdzone. So I wouldn't have watched the amazing Tim Burton Batman movie, the Dark Knight trilogy, and read the Batman comics if it wasn't for Lego Batman 2. How amazing. Well, I mean, we all have our entry points into things, right? So my entry point into Spider-Man and the X-Men and Batman was the animated series. That's how I was introduced to Batman, was through the animated series on Fox Kids. Fox Kids was like there was Fox that was the network, but then Fox Kids was a programming block. It was a time period. I think Fox Kids ran from like 2 o'clock in the afternoon until like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It was right when kids were coming home from school, and then Fox would put these like this block of cartoons on. It had X-Men, it had Spider-Man, had Batman, the animated series. So yeah, those were my entry points into those characters. And then once I started watching that and I got so into it, then I started going and reading the comics. And then, obviously watching the movies and so on and so on, right? And this is back in the days before internet existed. So if there was, I remember when, what was it? It was after, this had to have been 1993. Hold on. When did Mask of the Phantasm come out? Was that 1994? Hold on. Mask of the Phantasm. That was 93. Okay. So, yeah. So, in 1992, Batman Returns came out, and it was huge. Most everybody loved it, right? It was amazing. And right after that movie came out, there were these rumors that started to come out to say that Robin Williams was going to play the Riddler in an upcoming Batman movie. And, this was all kind of like Entertainment Weekly type stuff. This is stuff that you'd see on like Access Hollywood, but before Access Hollywood was Access Hollywood, kind of like those movie news channels on television where you'd hear stuff like this, right? Magazine subscriptions would have tiny little articles about, hey, did you hear this rumor? And so it wasn't like the internet. So you didn't even really have a way to research this stuff. You just kind of had to tangentially hear about it while you were out living life, right? So this stuff just kind of like happened. And there were these rumors that started coming out saying that Robin Williams was going to play the Riddler in an upcoming Batman movie. And we're like, A, that sounds awesome. But B, even better, there's going to be another Batman movie? We already had 2 and now we're going to get a 3rd one? This is crazy. And then Mask of the Phantasm came out the very next year, in 1993. And a lot of these rumors started going away because they were like, oh, okay, so the Robin Williams thing was just a rumor. The Riddler thing was just a rumor. The movie that they were talking about was the animated film Mask of the Phantasm. Fast forward 2 years, and those then when Batman Forever started going into production, these rumors started resurfacing about Robin Williams being the Riddler. And then, of course, they obviously went with Jim Carrey instead. But for a while, Robin Williams was, I believe, in talks to play the Riddler. I'm kind of glad he didn't, because that was I don't know. It was just a weird, it would have been a very different movie. Maybe a better movie. Who knows? Who knows? Where'd we go? But yeah, I mean, all of that is to say we all have our entry point. So for you, if it was Lego Batman 2, great. Like, that was your entry point. Everybody needs an entry point into these characters and into these worlds. Dominica says the first Burton Batman was rated AO, adults only, on Australian TV. So I'm not familiar with how the rating system for Australia goes, because I know in the UK it goes, in Nerd Zone, you can please correct me on this, it goes G, sorry, doesn't it go U, and then G, and then PG, and then 15, and then 18, and then you have kind of like your X-rated stuff on top of that. But doesn't it go from U, which is Universal, to, or maybe Universal and G, maybe that's the same thing. Correct me on that. But yeah, in Australia, I'm not quite sure how their rating system goes, but I love that Steven Spielberg was directly responsible for creating the PG-13 rating. I love that. Nerd Zone, in our current last comment of the day, says, oh yeah, by the way, The Amazing Spider-Man will be on Cartoon Network November 6th. Sony showing these movies, this is all bold caps, Sony showing these movies before No Way Home is just making your terribly hidden secret more, less of a secret. Yeah. And there's other like small little Nerd Zone says OMG, it's UPG 12. Oh, 12, that's what I was forgetting. 12, 15, 18. Yeah, sorry, that's it. Australia has GPG, M15 plus, MA15 plus, and then R18. Okay, so it's essentially the same thing. GPG, PG-13, a more advanced PG-13, and then like an R. And I feel like in the United States we need another kind of bridge, because when you watch, there's not all PG-13 movies are created equally, right? Because we have G, PG, PG-13, and R, right? We have the 4. But I like having 5 tiers, if you will, because some PG-13 movies are very innocuous, while other PG-13 movies, how did they get away? Like Lord of the Rings is an extremely violent movie. They're very, very violent films. So how did Lord of the Rings get a PG-13? Or like, I understand why it didn't get an R rating, because R is a little too extreme, but it also feels like PG-13 is a little too, it's not quite there. Anyway. And then of course, Dominica says UK, U is the UK's version of G. Yeah. So thank you for that clarification there. But, yeah, Nerd Zone, Sony, showing on, The Amazing Spider-Man on which, why are you showing a live action movie on Cartoon Network? That just, no thanks. That's not a thing that should be happening. Dominica says, you forgot. Thank you. Nerdzone says, oh, I don't know how Suicide Squad 2016 is a PG-13 in US because it's a 15. Yeah, and so there's a classic example. Dominica says NC-17. Yeah, that's the next rating up. But for like general movie-going audiences, for the most, you can't show an NC-17 in movie theaters. It has to go in very specific adults only movie theaters if you want to get an NC-17 on the big screen. But yeah, for an AMC movie theater, you're not going to get an NC-17. It's just, they won't allow it. But yeah, Nerd Zone, to your point, there's a lot of PG-13 movies that in the UK are either 12 or 15. So why don't we have that distinction over here? I wish we did, but let's be honest. Americans are just more prone to violence. You can have so much violence in your movie or television show that you're not going to get away with around the world. I mean, like, they show them, but the rating systems are different. We have such a higher tolerance when it comes to violence, but when it comes to sex, when it comes to curse words, oh no, we're going to be very puritanical about that. Can't show a nipple. How dare you show a nipple? But and it's totally okay to drop certain curse words. It's totally okay to on Gotta Live in the Movies. I try to keep the cursing and swearing off the air, but I will allow it for this one time. So if you're watching, if this is a family show, I am about to drop a curse word. It's not okay to show a nipple on television, but it's okay to use the word bitch. It's okay to call someone a bitch. Come on, you guys. We're better than that. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's just a weird standard. So, but yeah, I mean, like, there's different systems there. Dominica says, oh, I didn't know that about NC-17. Yeah, you're like, NC-17, because it has been graded to include such graphic content, whether it's violence, whether it's sex, whether it's, I think that's basically it, violence and sex. If that content is so extreme, you're not going to be able to show it in a normal movie house. It has to go to a specific adult-only movie theater, which the stigma to an adult-only movie theater is a porno house, right? That's what most people associate with an adult-only movie theater. And that's not always the case. But if your sexual content is that extreme that they're not going to show it in a normal movie theater, you know, it's just the way it is. Nerdzone says, not going to lie, if we had a knife crime film in the UK, it would probably be a PG. Just kidding. Obviously, because knives are our version of guns. Yeah. I mean, but that's the thing. I once heard, this is not the rule or the exception, this is just a colloquial thing that I heard once, is that if you want to do a horror movie, use a knife. If you want to do an action movie, use a gun. And the more I thought about that, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of truth. I mean, like, it's a, oh shoot, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not the exception. It's not the rule. It's just kind of a thing. But like, if you actually think about that, if you want to do a horror movie, use a knife. If you want to do an action movie, use a gun. And of course, the tone plays a big part into that as well. But I think there's some truth to that as well. But yeah. You know, guys, we're talking about movie rating systems quite a bit here. I kind of feel like this is getting close to the end of the show. We've been running for just about 2 hours at this point. So I think this is a good stopping point. It's good being back on air. It's good being back talking about this stuff with you guys. I really appreciate the conversation. And just giving us stuff to talk about and creating your own conversations. That's what I love about the comment section over here, is that you guys are having your own conversation. I just get to comment on it, right? You're having your own conversations. I just get to be present for it. So thank you so much for that. Thanks for, again, Nerdzone, thank you so much for all of your emails and for all of the things, for giving us stuff to talk about. It really means a lot to me that you guys want to be a part of this community and that you have something of value to say. You have something interesting and creative and supplemental to be part of the conversation. So thank you for that. Thank you for your love and support. Again, for anyone who's just tuning in, if you want to get your own topic or question on the show, just send me an email at gottalovethemovies@gmail.com. As long as your topic is family friendly, we can make it a main topic here on the show. And of course, like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm starting up a secondary channel next month called How to New York. Basically, how to be a New Yorker like a pro. How to get here, how to go there, how to do this, where to go to do that. So I'm really excited, really looking forward to this next channel. You guys, thanks so much for being here, being a part of the conversation. Don't forget to click that subscribe button. As always, we live in a world where everybody has their own thoughts and opinions, and sometimes those thoughts and opinions clash. So if you have an opportunity to infuse just a little bit of kindness in the world today, please take those opportunities and speak kind words to each other. As always, in the words of Bill S. Preston Esquire and Ted Theodore Logan, be excellent to each other. I will see you guys next week.